Dad, welcome
Yes.
back to Out of Spec.
Well, I'm glad to be back. I'm sitting here looking. It looks like there's a caterpillar crawling up my shirt. What, this microphone you got's got fur on it.
Well, it's sound deadening. So for those viewers who did not watch the previous video where I had my dad experience Tesla FSD for the first time, you should definitely watch that. It's linked below. It was actually your first time using any type of driverless autonomy.
It's my first time ever being on social media or using a video, so
So it was pretty good.
you're going to bring me into the 20th century.
I am. Now, today I want to talk about a new insurance offering, and I'll get into all of that here in a minute, but I want to talk about you and your career. So you've been an attorney in the Raleigh, North Carolina area.
I've been practicing law in Raleigh since 1980. I spent 12 years in a large firm where I did a lot of work for insurance companies and corporations, and I did a lot of work involving insurance policies and how they're constructed and how insurance companies deal with the people that buy their insurance when they have a claim.
Yes.
And so that's something that I've done. And then I have represented individuals and small businesses for almost 35 years, where I have often gone against insurance companies to make insurance companies do what their contracts promised they would do.
So I would consider my dad a little bit of an expert as far as insurance goes in my world. He may not call himself that, but I think when you've been practicing law for that long, deep in the insurance industry, I think you can give the viewers a pretty cool perspective. And so when we did our last video, I told the viewers, I would talk to you about some insurance and driving autonomy and what that might look like. And since that video, Lemonade, which is an insurance company, has now teamed up with Tesla, and they are offering a really interesting deal for Tesla drivers who use FSD. And I've got their website right here, so I want to quote it exactly. I'll leave a link below so you guys can read it for yourselves. But it says, Tesla full self-driving is twice as safe, so Lemonade takes 50% off every mile driven with FSD. That means lower premiums for you and safer roads for everyone. So what you do is you connect your Tesla with the Lemonade system. If your car is parked, you're going to be paying a low fixed parking price if you're not driving. And then you are only going to be paying for the miles that you're driving. So they claim they're charging only for miles driven each month, and those FSD miles are half of the price. So this is their claim. Now, a couple of, housekeeping items here.
Let me say this.
Okay.
I don't know anything specifically about the insurance company Lemonade, other than it's a fairly new insurance company out of New York. But and you sent me something, and I spent about 5 minutes looking at it.
Just
But
a
I
quick
think that
article.
product is only available in one state right now,
Yes, it's Arizona.
and it may be available next year in 2027 in another state. At least that's what they hope. Now, so
And you specialize in North Carolina.
well, and I've dealt with insurance in a lot of places, but what you have to understand is insurance is regulated individually by all 50 states.
Okay.
So this claim that Lemonade has would only be applicable to a product that they sell in, at this point, one state that they're authorized to sell insurance in. And I don't want to get too nerdy, but
Oh, we love nerdy stuff on this channel.
I thought you said you only had cool people and no nerds watched Out of Spec.
Well, Dad, I think I might be the coolest person here, so it's all for the nerds.
Okay, well, it's okay. When you buy an automobile insurance policy, it's really a lot of different contracts all put together in one policy.
And what do you mean by that? Can you kind of break that down for me?
Well, you're required, anyone who owns a vehicle or operates a vehicle is required to have what's called liability insurance.
Yep.
That is insurance that provides a certain limit if the driver or somebody driving the vehicle with the permission of the owner causes a wreck that causes either physical injury, bodily injury, or property damage.
Okay.
And that's required. Then after that, all other insurance parts of that contract are optional.
Yes. So
And that
you're
means you
required
don't have to buy them.
liability. Okay.
So those include things like collision insurance.
Yes.
If the vehicle is damaged because of running into something, another vehicle or something else, the collision insurance will pay for the repair of the vehicle. And there is comprehensive insurance or other than collision, and that would be if a limb falls on the vehicle while it's parked outside and it gets damaged, it would pay for that. There's other types of insurance, medical payments and other things, but let's not go there because you want to talk about FSD insurance. So
yes, specifically, and I have a couple of questions here that I wrote down ahead of time.
Okay.
I'd love to start just kind of like...
I wish you'd have shown them to me so I could have an intelligent answer.
I do keep showing up at my dad's office and saying, hey, can you film a video with me with zero context? You're almost retired. You need something to do. This keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, okay.
So at a high level, what does it mean legally when an insurance company like Lemonade charges less when software is driving instead of a human?
Well, I can't really speak to that because this is a new concept. But insurance companies charge premiums and they can quote a rate to certain drivers based on that driver's experience. In other words, if somebody's got no speeding tickets, then they pay a lower rate than somebody who's got a bunch of speeding tickets.
Like me.
Well, I hope you don't have any right now, but since...
I have not gotten a ticket, Dad, in 7 years. However, my insurance is still through the roof.
Well, because...
I was a bad driver.
Well, you were... Anyway, I'm not paying any more, so it doesn't really affect me. But the experience of a driver does have an impact, but insurance companies charge ahead of time. So you don't get a bill at the end of the month to say, we've noticed that you've driven 500 miles this month and that 250 of them were done by the car. And so I don't really know how they're going to charge. And that's an interesting concept because insurance companies are designed to make a profit when they charge what's a reasonable rate. And so I don't know how they do that, so I can't really speak to that.
Okay. I guess my big question when I first found out about all of this, and I think it's going to be the big question most of our viewers have, if a crash happens when Tesla's full self-driving is engaged, who is actually responsible? Would it be the driver, the automaker, or still just the insurer? And I know you don't 100% know, but I'd love your perspective.
Well, I do 100% know.
Okay.
That if there is a claim made, it's going to be against the driver, and if someone else owns the vehicle, the owner of the vehicle.
Okay.
Because it's the person who gets the insurance who would be responsible for that. Now, I know based on the time that you took me out and went around that I had to be in the seat of the car, and the car had a camera that was showing me, and if I wasn't paying attention to the road, the car would not operate.
Right, because it is still level 2 autonomy and it is supervised. So there has to be a driver in the driver's seat. There are a couple of autonomous rideshare services such as Waymo. I don't know if you've ever seen those before. They're pretty heavy in California and Texas. Those have no driver. They're completely unsupervised. Tesla is now rolling out a robo-taxi, which up until the date of this recording has included a safety driver sitting in the passenger seat with their finger on a button.
Well, those states will have to deal with that. But if a company is running a Waymo, I don't know what Waymo is, but if Waymo is the company and one of their vehicles runs over somebody, Waymo is going to be responsible whether they have insurance or not.
Right.
And so I think you're most interested in what are called personal auto policies. That would be for an individual and not for a company.
Which is what this is
They're
for.
commercial auto policies. And again, that's something else that I think is not really would be of interest to most individuals. Okay. But if there is a malfunction in the software, the driver may make a claim and say, well, I was in the vehicle, but it didn't operate properly. And they might be able to bring a claim against Tesla or the company that brought them the vehicle or the software. I don't know about that. We know Elon Musk doesn't need insurance. He's the richest man in the world. But I would guarantee that when somebody buys a Tesla, that there's a lot of fine print there that as much as possible would insulate Elon Musk and the company from any responsibility. And that gets into, complications about finger pointing, whose fault it was, and it's expensive. I know that these, there have been some lawsuits that involved failures in vehicles where claim has been made against the vehicle company, and it is exceptionally expensive to find experts who can analyze the engine control modules or whatever is at issue, and then bring the claim. So really I don't know.
These personal, drivers that suffer in that scenario.
Well,
or they make it where
every
you have to jump through so many loopholes and it's so expensive.
Well, every situation is different.
Okay.
And so I don't know how that's going to work out. Insurance companies are going to, and I'm sure that they're in the process and have been analyzing, because if they know that FSD is on the way, they're going to be analyzing how can we pass the risk on and charge someone. And
so that actually leads to my next question,
okay,
which was, do you think that insurers eventually could deny claims by arguing that the driver misused or misunderstood FSD?
Well, no,
that was kind of what I thought would be the next step, because I know these insurance companies just want to make money.
Well, I don't think that the insurance company, if they sell a policy to someone knowing that they've got a self-driving, I don't think they can deny the claim to the individual, but that'll lead to what is called insurance coverage litigation, lawsuits to figure out how that works. But that's, again, I don't think that's going to affect the people. One thing that I think interests me about this is if someone agrees to purchase this insurance, and the rate is set depending upon what the data shows is operating the vehicle, that person is going to be giving Lemonade and Tesla and anybody else complete right to look into everything about their comings and goings.
And I think, now I'm going to look this up because I didn't look it up ahead of time and I meant to do this. I'm pretty sure if you click that you're going to use FSD, you are allowing Tesla to view your data, because that's how they've been able to go from having what I consider, a terrible autonomy system to this incredible point-to-point self-driving system over the course of a pretty short period of a couple of years.
Well, as people like to say, every pancake's got two sides, no matter how thin it is. So Tesla is pitching, oh, you're helping everyone. You're making this safer and you're making this better.
Make it better.
What they're not
Right.
telling you, and this is something that happens in AI, is, and it's a big issue for law firms that use AI, is there are privacy concerns there. And
What are those concerns?
well, let's take, for instance, somebody who's married
Okay.
and they go through a divorce
Okay.
and they have been messing around before the marriage ended. Well, it's not going to take a rocket scientist to figure out, I'd like to get the data on the self-driving vehicle that they had to find out
Were they at that person's house?
if she or he was going to their honey's house, and that's going to have, I mean, people are not going to want to know. You're not always going to want people to know that, hey, instead of working remotely today, I was on the golf course.
Or I was on the ski mountain.
Or whatever it may be. So there are privacy concerns, and it's being pitched to consumers as, oh, we want to help you, we want to charge less money, but the consumers have to understand there's another side to that they're giving someone another window into their lives. So
Is that why you stay off of, this is kind of veering off of this conversation for a second, but is that why you stay off of social media and you're not involved in any of that? You just like to keep things simple and private?
no.
Okay.
The reason I'm not on social media is I waste enough time without it. And I don't want to have to wear a hoodie and play video games just like all those, young hooligans that are on social media.
All of my viewers who are
Or
who make my job happen.
conspiracy theorists or something like that. And let me just tell you, while we're here, I have never talked to Jeffrey Epstein. I've never emailed with him, and I've not been to the island.
Dad,
Although a lot of prominent people have.
Yes, and you are a prominent person. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not.
At no point in my 30 years did I think that you would reference yourself and say that you were never a part of Epstein's thing. Nobody was worried about that, Dad.
Well,
Dad lives a very simple, fulfilling life, and I never worried.
I wouldn't say that necessarily, but I just never. I don't know. I can't figure it out.
Okay, let's zoom out a little bit and rein this back in. Do you see insurance changing before the law changes, which is kind of what I'm thinking is happening right now, or the other way around when it comes to autonomy?
Well,
Because it's going to happen.
if self-driving vehicles are allowed in particular states and places,
Yes.
then the states where, and we're talking about the United States now, the states where that happens are going to they're going to require insurance because it's required that you have liability insurance to be able to operate a vehicle.
In all 50 states, right?
Yes.
That was going to be my question. Okay.
And the states regulate insurance differently. North Carolina has very strict regulations compared to some states which are very lax about how they regulate the products. But the insurance industry, I can guarantee, they have for years been analyzing this. As soon as somebody wrote the first article saying we're working on self-driving vehicles, the insurance industry started thinking about how are we going to handle that.
Yeah.
And the trucking industry has been trying to get self-driving vehicles for a long time, and so far they failed because driving a vehicle is very it's a complicated task. And we know from just riding around the other day,
Yes.
that thing, the FSD, which was pretty impressive, made a mistake.
Yeah, so for those of you who did not watch that video, Dad and I, we were in Raleigh, and I said, Dad, I want you to take me somewhere pretty difficult. And we went down a road that initially was 3 lanes. Was it 3 lanes?
No, it was 5, and it went to 6.
Yeah.
And they
didn't widen
the lanes got narrower, and there are a lot of commercial places, and we were heading to one place, and the vehicle went right past it, and then started to turn into the exit of a car wash.
Yes.
to cross 3 lanes of travel
Before Dad
because
took
I was
over.
paying attention. I grabbed the wheel and took over.
Yes. Okay, so back to the trucking industry and what they've been trying to push. So you do think that, these insurance companies have seen this coming, they've been prepping for it.
Yeah. Well,
it won't be something you'll deal with in your practice.
Well, I may. I mean, it's coming quickly, and there are going to be mistakes. All machines break, and as long as you have people, there are going to be people that try and do things that they shouldn't. I mean, what is Lemonade going to do when they pull the data and they see that the driver who just ran over a family in the crosswalk on the way to church had put it in Mad Max mode before he took off that day? How are they going to deal with that? Because you showed me that there are different modes.
There are different drive modes, so it goes all the way from sloth, which is incredibly slow. There are 5 drive modes. So there's sloth, chill, standard, hurry, Mad Max, offered in hardware for Teslas.
Yeah, and another thing that I thought about after this, it's not on your insurance thing.
Okay.
But suppose somebody goes out and they're having a nice time at a bar or a restaurant and they have one or two too many drinks. Mm-hmm. But they think, well, I've got a self-driving vehicle.
I've got FSD. I just have to type in the address.
I'll just go get in so they go out and they stumble and they get in their vehicle and they hit home and they start home, and then something happens and there's a wreck. Well, it's not FSD's fault. The person is still going to be responsible for impaired driving.
Right, because they knowingly got behind the wheel.
No. Whether they knowingly or not. If they have a wreck and the police come and they smell alcohol or smell drugs or whatever it might be, they're going to test the person to find out if they're impaired, and they're still going to be responsible. They can't say, FSD did it.
Right.
There's a lot of issues that are going to come up as this becomes more prevalent.
Mm-hmm. And you just reminded me of something else that we talked about in our last video. I have, a friend who has a severely disabled child, and his hope was by purchasing a Tesla, eventually it would get to the point where it would not need supervision. But you brought up the point, if somebody's, behind the wheel, they need to be a licensed driver.
If somebody is impaired and needs transportation, that's a very legitimate need.
Absolutely.
But if the system requires that somebody be facing the camera
and supervising and aware.
Well, if the system requires that somebody be facing the camera and the person is impaired and they can face the camera, but they can't take over, I don't really see that that's a solution for anything. That's going to cause, so there are, these issues will get worked out, but it's going to take time, and I don't think that there are easy answers. And I know that this new insurance company, Lemonade, is appealing to Tesla drivers, and the marketing is good, but when somebody gets an FSD, I think that any of their claims about we're going to charge less are going to have to be prospective, looking forward, instead of contemporaneous in time, because they don't know how much somebody's going to use FSD, but they're going to get the premium up front. So who knows? It's going to work itself out. I think that they're going to be potentially, there may be more safety from FSD, but I don't think it instantly makes driving more safe.
No.
And I know that there needs to be insurance to take care of this. So it's an evolving issue.
It is an evolving issue, and it's been cool to have this conversation. To be transparent with everyone, this is actually our second conversation about this. We had recorded a video previously, but it wasn't working out, so I appreciate you coming back on.
Well, to be transparent, she's never told me ahead of time what we're going to talk about. She doesn't let me watch anything,
That's
And
not
so
true.
if
Like,
I've
he
goofed
doesn't
up,
watch anything.
I get to see it when you get to see it, folks. And if you don't like what I'm saying, please pass that on.
Please leave a comment below if there are more issues you guys would like to see me chat with my dad about. Like I said, he will be retiring soon. You know, we got to help him, guys. He's just going to be so sad and lonely.
Hey, I saw this morning that they're going to require exterior door handles in China and interior door handles so people can get in and out of these EVs. They're going to do away with these flush door handles. And so that
Are
was...
they going away with all the way? Like, they can't go in?
Well, you'll have to read that, but the Chinese are ahead of us. You know, they stole all
they're
our
way ahead of us.
They stole our technology, and now they're smarter about safety. So there you go.
The cars in China are insane. Maybe you and I should take a little trip to China. They charge better. The autonomy is better. The cars are so cheap.
Well,
maybe we should take a little trip, Dad.
See what I've had to deal with?
Dad, thank you for joining again on another episode. I appreciate your perspective. I know the viewers do as well. And I think that wraps up our video.
Well, thank you.
All right, guys. I'll see you again on the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.